Welcome in one and all. Glad to have you back. Badgie 79. I hope you're all doing well. We are in season 4. It is the final episode. This is Anfield. I mean, this isn't Anfield. I'm not really there. You know that by now, though, don't you? Either way, we're going to be bringing you the final look at the players. Harvey Elliott, James Balaguez, Leighton Clarkson and Curtis Jones. And we will see how well they've done when they are hitting retirement. And we will also have a look at my personal perspective and my personal opinion on who has had the best career. Drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment on teams you'd like to see in the future. Don't forget also you can catch me most weekdays at lunchtime around the 12:30 mark for lunchtime lives with on twitch.tv/Badgie79 and also for the Down the Local show, which during the Euros will become every 2 nights. It won't be every 2 nights, that's a dirty lie. It'll be on twice a week. It'll be on a Monday and a Wednesday at the same channel, twitch.tv/Badgie79. Look forward to seeing you there. On with the finale. Our next Liverpool youngster to retire is James Balaguez, and he has slipped through the net. There was no announcement of his retirement, and all of a sudden, he is a lone manager unemployed. Calling time on his career after one season in the second division with Charleroi. He had 2 years in the Pro League in Belgium, first with them, but then relegation. He actually had his most productive time. 27 games, 8 goals, 2 assists in that Pro League, but actually also his worst performance with average ratings, only a 6.3. And as you can see throughout his career, there hasn't been high average ratings. And this is something I said at the time. Balaguez was a player who had all of those very good attributes in the areas he needed for the position he played, but surrounded by really poor attributes that would have been a disadvantage to him at all points. But we can see he's had a good, varied career. Something to note here. They've got a note, Football Manager. Balaguez, being a player of Man City in 2014-2015, at the age of 12, then vanishing until reappearing at Liverpool for the 2021 season. Very bizarre, but we digress. We move on. So, obviously a good career. He was the first person to fly the nest. He took an opportunity and went to PSG. Made 6 appearances for PSG with a couple of loan moves out here and there. Sheffield United, Swansea, Preston, Houston Dynamo, Portsmouth and Charleroi. Never hit the heights. Never really progressed. A couple of seasons with games in the Prem. A couple of seasons where he played games for PSG. But on the whole, a championship player at best. Average ratings below the 7. Did he win much as a player? Competitions? Not really. Relegated from the Premier League. Got promoted from Sky Bet Championship. Relegated. He won a few things with PSG, but he was only ever a backup player there. He would have won it by being virtue of being in the squad. So French Cup a couple of times in the Liga and Championship. And then a few youth tournaments with Liverpool. So Balaguez, someone who's definitely never got to reach that potential. And he was the wild card. We were scraping around trying to find someone within that Liverpool setup who we could have as our fourth. Balaguez had the potential. Did he live up to it? Sad to say, probably not. So guys, it's June 2038 and the first of our Liverpool youngsters to retire is Leighton Clarkson. So, as we said at the very start of this save, of this process, we were struggling to find players within that Liverpool academy with the potential ability to really sort of push on and do something outside of Curtis Jones. But we have been pleasantly surprised. Leighton Clarkson has been a player, and you can still see now the mentals are pretty good. the technicals in the key areas that he needs, in that first touch and that passing and the technique, even the tackling's all right. He's got a little bit of everything to be in the role that he has been, in that defensive midfield or centre midfield role, deep line playmaker. He is due to retire at the end of this month when his contract comes to an end at Young Boys. Let's have a little look and see how he's been over his career. So, Clarkson had his moves out on loan multiple times. He played for Liverpool a number of times, but ended up at Tottenham for 13.25 million after a spell with LAFC in America. Never really cemented his place there and struggled a little bit, but a big money move to Newcastle in the Championship, and things started to kick on a little bit more. Very good in the Championship. He'd done all right in the Prem, but again, went to Norwich in the Championship again and shone for a Norwich team that clearly got promoted that first season. Back to the Prem, played for them again, and then his final move for 7.25 million off to Young Boys of Bern in Switzerland in the Super League, where he has consistently achieved over that 7 rating. Not been playing as regularly as maybe you'd think, but consistently, especially coming towards the end of his career, putting out the rating. So maybe Leighton Clarkson was one of those players who was too good for the Championship, but not quite good enough for the top level. Let's have a quick look and see what he's won over his period of time, competition-wise. So he won the playoffs in the Championship. He was champion of the Championship with Newcastle, a Super Cup runner-up and a Europa Cup winner with Spurs. The North American MLS Champions League winners, North American Champions League winners, and also Carabao Cup runners-up as well. So not huge amounts of stuff, but Leighton Clarkson, the first of our Liverpool youngsters to retire. And now we have Harvey Elliott just about to retire. It is July 2040. He's hanging up those boots on the 16th of July 2040. Still deemed as a veteran winger, although looking comfortable centre midfield or either side up top. Let's have a look. Currently at Anderlecht, he had that big money move in the mid-20s to Inter Milan and then was at Inter for 10 years. He then had a move to Cittadella, again in the top flight of Italy, and spent 2 years there as well. Free transfer to Anderlecht. Had a season at Anderlecht. He's calling time on his career before we start the new season. Consistent ratings. I mean, Harvey Elliott is a player, when I looked at this to start with, I didn't expect him to do well. His ratings, his potential rating was only a 3.5, maybe a 4. But since having those loans, he had that one full season at Liverpool and he established himself straight away, a 7.26. He then had a second season with a 7.36, 10 goals in it as well. And from there, the Inter Milan move, he's just gone through the roof. 7.7, 7.47, 7.77, 7.28, 7.26, 7.33. It's just consistently high numbers until his very final season with Inter. 27 goals, 27 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, a 6.93, which is still a decent average rating. It's just dropping well short of what was expected. 2 seasons at Cittadella as well, has done all right, and he's had an all right season at Anderlecht as well. Calling time on his career, 42 international caps and 2 goals. And trophy-wise, well, he's won a lot. A World Cup runner-up with England. He's won various things with England. Italy Cup runner-up. He's also Italian Cup runner-up, Super Cup, Serie A champions. Italian Cup runner-up, Super Cup winner, runner-up. It's just, he's won things pretty much every season. Or at least been a runner-up in something every season. It has been a very, very good career for Harvey Elliott. And hats off to him. I'm surprised. What about you? Our next Liverpool youngster to hang up their boots is Curtis Jones. And I'll be honest, he was the standout player when we started, but he's had a career that's gone over 18 years on this save alone, and he's just become incredible. You can see the physicals. He's 38 now. He's at Nancy. His retirement date is in a couple of weeks' time. The physicals have gone down drastically. He's still got the balance, the jumping reach and the natural fitness, but everything else has tailed off. But then look at those mentals. Look at those technicals. 156 caps for England, 36 goals. Over the course of his career, the last 2 seasons at Nancy haven't been fantastic. Or last season he didn't play. This season hasn't started. He's retiring before that happens. First season was all right. But look, from 2024 onwards, every season was over a 7 rating. And a big chunk of them were over a 7.5 for an average. With a few of these seasons, an absolute belting goal tally for a winger. 17, 12, 11, 10, 13. Assists are consistently between sort of 5 and 10. Curtis Jones has been an absolute baller over the course of this save. Competition-wise, when he was at Chelsea, English FA Cup runner-up. They were Euro Cup winners at Liverpool. He was a Community Shield winner, International League 3rd place, FA Cup, Community Shield, World Cup runner-up with England, Premier League champion, World Club Championship runner-up, European International League winners, Carabao Cup runner-up, European champions with England, World Club 3rd place, Euro Cup 2 runners-up. It just goes on and on. He's won so many different trophies as with the clubs he's been at. Individual awards, obviously there's just shed loads in there as well. It's ongoing in England's best 11. Curtis Jones has been an absolute baller. Is he the best that they've produced? We'll see. So here we are, guys. It's the end of the Liverpool youngsters' journey. But who are we going to crown the king of youngsters from Liverpool? Is it going to be Harvey Elliott? Is it going to be Curtis Jones? Is it going to be James Balaguez? Or is it going to be Leighton Clarkson? Now, I'm not going to lie. When I started this off and I looked at the potential ratings and things like that of the players, I genuinely had fears that this was going to be a bit of a washout. The only person who really had any potential markers to stand out from the crowd was Curtis Jones. But Leighton Clarkson has turned into a very consistent centre midfielder, playing for big clubs across the course of his career. James Balaguez was a little bit of a letdown. He got that early move to PSG, starred for the reserve team there for Paris too, but only made 7 appearances over the course of a period of time at Paris, and then has sort of dropped down and been in amongst the Championship, had a season in MLS, League One, and it's kind of just petered out for him. But when you look at his stats for the position he plays, they are all very good. It's just the other bits around him, the attributes that go around the outside of that, let him down. Harvey Elliott was always going to be an interesting one. Someone that a lot of people put a lot of faith into, but has never really delivered it on the biggest stage. Could he then deliver? Now we know Curtis Jones pretty much spent his whole time at Liverpool. We know Harvey Elliott left Liverpool after a number of loans and ended up at Inter Milan and then pretty much spent his whole time there. We know Clarkson dotted around and had some time in the MLS, had some time at Spurs, had some time back in the Prem with other teams. But this ended up being a true battle between Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott. Now, Curtis Jones probably, as he started the save in that first team at Liverpool, he had the stats ready to go. He has exceeded expectation. He ended up with well over 100 caps for England. Lots of goals, consistently delivering for that Liverpool first team as well. Harvey Elliott didn't make it at Liverpool, but then was fantastic for a long period of time at Inter Milan, but never really broke as a regular in that England squad. 40, 50 caps, probably could have been a lot more when you look at the output that Curtis Jones had in the end. And for that reason, and that reason alone, and I think they've both had great careers, but when you just get to that international level, and for that reason, Curtis Jones has got to be the guy. He didn't fly the nest. He stayed with Liverpool. But let's be fair, he didn't need to. Been a pleasure, as always, guys. If you haven't already, drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment on who you would like to see covered next. But for now, peace out.